guys, today we are back at Captain Underpants and the revolting revenge of the radioactive robo boxer. Instantly, the two tiny tippies stepped forward in time, only to find themselves knee-deep in something creamy, coconutty, and marshmallowy. Honey, said a mother who was setting her dinner table. Two little pair of pants are walking around in our ambrosia salad. Oh, really? Said her son, and I am the one seeing a therapist. Tiny Tippy and slightly younger Tiny Tippy crawled out of the serving bowl and sucked off the pineapple chunks and mandarin orange slice that had stuck to their leg. Then they jumped to the floor and slipped through the mail slot in the front door. Outside, they could hear the crashing sound of the terrifying battle between Captain Underpants and Big Tippy. The two tiny tippies ran toward the noises until they arrived at the school football field. Captain Underpants had just started pulling on Tippy's robo arm. One by one, the rivets in the robo suit's thick steel belt begins to pop. Captain Underpants yanked the tug and pulled, and finally the robo suit tore in half with a terrible clank. Tiny Tippy and slightly younger Tiny Tippy ran over to the place where Captain Underpants had dropped the upper portion of robo suit. Quickly they searched through the twisted metal until they found what they were looking for, the Goosey Grove 4000. Outside, they could hear the crackling sound of Big Tippy zapping himself backward. In time, a blinding flash lit up the nighttime sky as the two tippies dragged the Goosey Grove 4000 from the wreckage and carried it away with them through the parking lot. Soon they came to a darkened street behind some old warehouses. Okay, said Tiny Tippy, you zap me, then I will zap you. Hey, said slightly younger Tiny Tippy, how come you get to go first? Because I am slightly older than you, said Tiny Tippy, and slightly more mature. All right, said slightly younger Tiny Tippy, who could not argue with the fact that Tiny Tippy was indeed 10 minutes more mature than himself. Let's just do this thing and get it over with. He aimed the Goosey Grove 4000 at Tiny Tippy and jumped up on the button, and before you could even say "Goose," a beam of energy zapped Tiny Tippy, causing him to grow 30 feet tall. Zap me again, said Tiny Tippy. All right, said slightly younger Tiny Tippy, but then you will zap me, right? Sure, sir, said Tiny Tippy. I promise. Glurt went another bright beam of energy. This time, Tiny Tippy grew to be 60 feet tall. Ha ha ha! He laughed. Behold, I have been reborn as Super Mega Tippy. My turn, cried silently younger Tiny Tippy. Super Mega Tippy reached down and grabbed the Groovy Grow 4000. He tucked it into the cup holder on the electrical panel and waved goodbye to slightly younger Tiny Tippy. Hey! Cried slightly younger Tiny Tippy. What about me? Sorry, said Super Mega Tippy. But this is a job for a man, not a little trip like you. Chapter 9. Meanwhile, 7 pages ago, 65 million years earlier, Big Tippy had chased our heroes. They to the jagged edge of a cliff overlooking a lake. Cracker grabbed George and Harold by their shirt collars, and they all sailed safely over the edge of the cliff to join Captain Underpants in the clouds. Big Tippy Tyrannosaurus Rex stretched to the hilt at the cliff edge and roared fiercely at the 5 floating friends. We won! Captain Underpants laughed at Tippy. Laughed at Tippy. And now it's our turn to chase you. This isn't a game, yelled Big Tippy. This is serious. He leaped off the neck of the T-Rex and grabbed Captain Underpants with his patented robotic extoplasmic gripper. Together they fell 1,000 feet into the lake below. When they emerged from the deep of the lake, something had changed. Tippy was still just mean as mean and ordinary as ever, but Captain Underpants looked different. What the heck is going on here? Yelled the angry-looking hero. Oh no! Cried George. Captain Underpants got water on his head. He changed back into Mr. Crab. Quick, Cracker, called Harold. Fly us down there as fast as you can. Cracker glided down toward the tempest, struggled below, and the boys snapped their fingers with all their might. But it did no good. Mr. Crab's head and still soaking wet. So he could not change back into Captain Underpants. Well, look what I just figured out, cried the Big Tippy. Captain Underpants turned back into a crabby old elementary school principal whenever he gets wet. You leave him alone, yelled George, still snapping his finger and Wade. Yeah, cried Harold, it's not a fair fight anymore. Wow, laughed Big Tippy incredulously. He's gotta be the world's easiest hero to defeat. I could have destroyed him with a squirt gun. Suddenly, a blinding flash lit up the world around them. Then came the footsteps, terrible, deafening, tumbling, thundering, storm. Finally, a massive shadow straight across the lake. Big Tippy looked up. It was Super Mega Tippy. Hey! Shouted Big Tippy. He quickly checked his jacket pocket and found it to be empty. Where would you come from? How would you get so big? Where's the other one? None of that is important now, said Super Mega Tippy. What important now is who's in charge. Hey, you will never believe this, said Big Tippy, ignoring the visible double. I just figured out that if you get Captain Underpants wet, you loses the superpowers. His weakness is water, said Super Mega Tippy. Wow, really? I know, said Big Tippy. I couldn't believe it's myself. Hey, I'm gonna destroy him real quick. Then you can get out of here and go rule the world and stuff. You're not going to destroy him, said Super Mega Tippy. I am. Now hold on, bub, said Big Tippy. I caught him, so I'm gonna destroy him. Oh yeah? Said Super Mega Tippy with a growl that made the surface of the lake tremble. Well, I'm bigger than you, so I'm gonna decide who destroyed who. He took a giant step toward Big Tippy and reached down the Extoflus Massini gripper. Not so fast, cried Big Tippy. He pressed a button on the control panel, causing the back of his robo pants to lower. Suddenly, a gigantic metal arm emerged from the deep of Tippy's giant robo rear, revealing a 40 Titan thermonuclear bomb. You take one step closer, and I will blow us all to smithereens, said Big Tippy. You are forgetting something, yelled Super Mega Tippy. I have a bomb too, and it's a lot bigger than yours. Super Mega Tippy took a step closer as Big Tippy pressed the button. Suddenly, a light on the side of the bomb begins to flash red. A composed voice emanating from the bomb arming system begins the countdown. This bomb will detonate in 60 seconds, said the voice. You pressed the button, screamed Super Mega Tippy incredibly so. I can't believe you actually pressed the button. I don't care, cried Big Tippy. I have been working on my revenge for years. I'm not going to let you rob me of this moment. I don't care if it kills me, too. This bomb will stone it in 45 seconds, said the bomb. We can't turn off these bombs off. You know, said Super Mega Tippy. Once the countdown starts, it's over. I told you, I don't care, said Big Tippy. I just want to be the one who finally destroyed Captain Underpants. Super Mega Tippy reached down with an uncooling Extoflus Massini gripper and cut Mr. scrub-free. Hey, screamed Big Tippy, what are you doing? He's mine, said Super Mega Tippy as he drew back his foot. But what about me? Said Big Tippy. What about the bomb? What about my bomb? Your bomb, your problem, said Super Mega Tippy as he kicked Big Tippy with all his might. Chapter 10. What really kills the dinosaur? No! Screamed Big Tippy as he sailed into the clouds at an incredible speed. This bomb will detonate in 30 seconds, said the bomb. Big Tippy flew across North America, soaring faster and faster through the stratosphere. This bomb will detonate in 15 seconds, said the bomb. Big Tippy begins to lose altitude as he sailed toward the Gulf of Mexico. This bomb will detonate in 5 seconds, said the bomb. 4, 3, 2, 1. Finally, Big Tippy landed just off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula with a violently colossal splashdown, as seen below. Kabooski! The massive explosion that follows blew up chunks of the earth 15 miles deep and more than 60 miles wide. Terrible earthquake shook the entire planet as a gigantic tsunami sent a towering wall of seawater rolling across the continent. What happening? Cried George. It's that dumb nuclear bomb, shouted Super Mega Tippy. It just targeted the start of the Conisaurus Earth. I'm gonna become an insect if I don't get out of here quickly. Super Mega Tippy set the tinkle time travel meter for 60 quillion, 4 trillion, 3 billion, 793,216 years into the future and press the away we go button. Suddenly, a gigantic bolt of lightning began shooting out of his Super Mega Tippy's robo pants as a ball of blue light enveloped him. Quick, Cracker! Cried Harold as thick volcanic ash began blocking out the sun. Fly into the blue light. It's our only chance to escape. Cracker points his long, repeatedly neck toward the crackling orb, and the 4 friends sailed downward into the blinding blue lightning. Chapter 11. 20784 years ago. A flash of white light filled the mid-afternoon as haze of the Pleistocene epoch. The crystal blue lake that had once been there was now gone. In its place where vast savanna plains scratching out the too thick forest hillside and rocky caves. All was quick, except for the sound of insect and bird and a faint rhythmic drumming far in far off in the forest. Where are we? Said George. I think the better question would be, when are we? Said Harold. Super Mega Tippy was surprised to see George and Harold and Cracker and Sulu. Well, 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 he said. It's looked like we have four stowawways. But what Super Mega Tippy did not realize is that he had a fifth stowaway as well. It was slightly younger Tiny Tippy who at that very moment was carefully crawling down a button on Super Mega Tippy's shirt. Do you see, everyone? This is Super Mega Tippy crawling on. That is slightly younger Tiny Tippy crawling on Super Mega Tippy's shirt. See? That stupid Mega Tippy thinks he can lie to me and get away with it, said slightly younger Tiny Tippy as he jumped onto the control panel. But I will teach him a lesson he will never forget. Slightly younger Tiny Tippy prayed up an animal, went and slipped a foresail into the very inner of the control panel. First, he reversed the polarity on the emulsifying surface length in he betore. Then he switched the blue and green wires on the reverse some go betlating tractor magfraction laser. Finally he snapped all the wires to the Freezy Beam 4000 off button. Ha ha ha, laughed silently younger Tiny Tippy. The next time that big jerk uses his Freezy Beam 4000, he's going to get a big surprise. Meanwhile, the drama outside was getting seriously. Super Mega Tippy sweating at our heroes as the soar bravely through the Indian sky. Cracker skillfully switched the dive and looped as the extendo flex machine gripper fizzed after him, but Super Mega Tippy quickly became impatiently and unleashed two more extendo flex machine gripper. Poor Cracker could not outmaneuver them all, and the four friends were soon captured. I have got you now, screamed Super Mega Tippy. Hey, look, said George, pointing at the ground behind Super Mega Tippy. There's a bunch of cake people down there watching us. I am not falling for that trick, said Super Mega Tippy. As soon as I turn around, you guys are going to try to escape. No, seriously, cried. No, seriously, cried Harold. We are not lying. Look behind. Super Mega Tippy glanced quickly and noticed that the boys were indeed telling the truth. Standing behind them and the edge of the forest were about a dozen very surprised looking cave people staring up in dumbfounded bewilderment. You boys shouldn't be surprised to see cave people, said Super Mega Tippy as he studied the strange prehistoric people. We are in the middle of the Pleistocene. This is around the time that the first human families started to appear on Earth. I will be you dumb kids. Didn't know that, did you? Super Mega Tippy turned to smile heartily at George and Harold, but of course they were gone. So has beaten through three of the Extoflus machine gripper, and the four friends had fluttered away. No! Screamed Super Mega Tippy as he stomped his gigantic feet in frustration. The startled cave people screamed and ran back to their home. In the deep forest, Super Mega Tippy grabbed some strong vines and tied Mr. Croft into a bundle underneath a waterfall. There, he sneered, this should keep you most and powerless until I get back. Then he stormed into the forest, searching for George and Harold and their pets. Chapter 12, Calling All Cave People. How are we going to get out of this mess? Asked Harold. I don't know, said George, but we are going to need Tippy Tinkercrafter if we ever want to get back home. Are you kidding? Said Harold. We can't trust that guy. He can't even trust himself. I know, said George, but Tippy has a time machine and we don't, so we are going to have to defeat him. But we would need an army to defeat that guy, said Harold. So let's go get an army, said George. The four friends leaped above the grassy plain as they followed the sound of beating drums. Soon they arrived at the forest. The drumming was getting louder. Crackers swooped down and landed behind some bushes near the caves. Just beyond them was the cave people village. George and Harold and Cracker and Sulu peeked over the thick bushes as they watched the cave people go about their daily routine. They seemed peaceful, so George decided to speak up. Hello, said George. We come in peace. We are friends. The cave people looked confused and startled. They did not seem to understand. Maybe they don't speak English, said Harold. Elohi, said George, who only speak one other language. Iowapki, Iwi, Iswi, Iwi, Arvi, free. That didn't work either. The cave people grunted and sniffed at George and Harold and their pets, but they said nothing. Suddenly, off in the distance, in the sound of gigantic footsteps came thundering through the deep forest. Tippy was coming, and he was getting closer and closer. with each terrifying stomp. I know you are in that village, Tippy screamed, but you can't hide from me. Tippy crashed through the tree and stomped into the village, kicking over huts and smoothing everything in sight. The terrified cave people grabbed their children and ran toward the safety of the caves behind their village. George and Harold and Cracker and Sulu ran into the cave also and hid with the cave people in the darkness as the destruction outside continued. After a while, some cave teenagers started a campfire. The flickering light illuminated the massive walls of cave as the cave people whispered and huddled together in horror. Wow, said George. Some armies they turn out to be. It's not their fault, said Harold. They have never seen giant robo pants before. They are just scared. If we could only communicate with them, said George. There gotta be some way to reach them. Harold looked up at the giant blank wall of the cave. How about pictures? He asked. Hey, good ideas, George. Harold walked over to the campfire and grabbed a carrot smoking stick from the burning cinders. Then he went to one side of the cave, giant cave, and started to create the world's first cave drawing. At first, the cave people were amused. They had never seen anybody draw before. They laughed and pointed and jumped up and down every time Harold drew something new. But when Harold drew Tippy and his rope hands, the cave people became frightened and they grunted nervously and lowered their heads in fear and submission. Wow, said Harold. How are we ever gonna change their mind about Tippy? I know, said George. Let's make a realist comic. They will understand that. Good idea, said Harold. Let's do it. So George and Harold found a ladder and began creating a world first comic. The cave people watched in excitement as George and Harold's tale unfolded. Soon their opinion about Tippy and his robo pants began in Chapter 13. The world's oldest comic, Staring Oak and Goog. Let's see the comic. Harold is drawing the comic, and George and the cave peoples are pointing at it and loving it. The dinosaur was very happy, and then he take a bath. Suddenly, what happened? Right here, he got bumped into something like Tippy's. He bumped into Tippy's shoes. He seen Tippy and his robo pants, and he gone to the nearby house. And then he crashed it. And then the cave people got very sad. What? And then the animal got scared, and Tippy pushed and let the branches leave. But then he fell down into the water, and they think he was going to fall to the waterfall, and the two cave people know he saved that animal which is falling down the waterfall, and they hang on the vine and saved him, and they be friends. And Tippy knows. They chased through the jungle and then the vine. And then they made a rope vine between two trees. And then they said, "Come over here." And then Tippy sees. They chased them, and then he tripped down and then crashed, and the log come, and they laughed, and then they got scared, and they get into a big animal. Tippy had kicked the big animal, and he got mad, and he chased Tippy away, and everyone are laughing of this comic. And then he fall down with a gigantic crash, and the pineapple crashed into it, and then they laughed again. "Oh no," they said. Tippy had chased through all the jungle when the three heroes are going, and they go behind the tree, and then they got an idea, the beehive, and then they made a stone, and then they got some berries from the tree and he smashed it, and then they made a picture of him on the rock, and he brought a log from a forest and take a pineapple, which he threw on Tippy last time. And the cave people said, "Oh, Tippy!" Tippy listened, and then they know that, and then they pushed the rock of him, and then the pineapple gone to the beehive, and then it got crushed into it, and Tippy got scared. Help me! Help! And the rock has crashed into it, and some beehive comes, and the cave people start laughing. Chapter 14, Clash of the Cave People. Once the cave people read George and Harold's cave comics, they stopped being afraid of Tippy and his robo pants. Now they were inspired. Quickly, they divided themselves into groups and began planning their counterattack. George and Harold watched as the cave people grabbed their own seared sticks from the fire and began drawing out embroidered plans. Even though they could only speak in grunted and grunts, they all understood comics, and they all knew what needed to be done. Before long, everybody high-fived and sneaked out the back of the cave, and cave people ran up the hill, tying vines between trees, placing banana peels all over the ground, and setting booby traps everywhere they could think of. Once everyone was ready, George and Harold and Sue hopped onto Cracker's back and they flew around the cave to where Tippy was busy destroying the village. "Oh, Tippy!" called George. "Where have you been? You're going to miss all the fun." Tippy turned quickly and chased after the four friends, who lead him directly into the cave people traps. As Tippy ran, he glanced down and noticed a vine tied tightly between two tree trunks. Quickly he screeched and held. "Ha ha ha!" Tippy bellowed. "Did you think I was going to fall for that lame trick?" Tippy rolled his eyes in contempt as he jumped over the vine. Bam! Zip! and land on a bunch of banana peels. Yeah! Tippy screamed as he slipped and crashed to the ground. Then Tippy started sliding on the banana peels, then the steep hill toward the cave below. No! Tippy wailed as he slid faster and faster. Finally, Tippy flipped over the edge of the cliff and tumbled to the tar pit below with a mighty carplus. Tippy was furious. He pulled himself up out of the sticky black tar and screamed, "Is that all you got?" But the cave people have a few more surprises in store for Tippy. "You stupid cave jerks!" Tippy screamed as he finally turned to his sense. "Is that all you got?" But unfortunately for Tippy, there was still more to come. "Ah!" screamed Tippy as his tar-covered robo butts caught on fire. Tippy ran shrinking toward a small pot as the flames sprayed everywhere. Finally, the screaming robotic fireball plugged deep into the cooling water of the pond. With a gigantic splash, George, Harold, Cracker Sulu, and the cave people gathered around the edge of the pond to see what had become of their evil nemesis. For a few minutes, everything was calm. Then the surface of the water began to tremble. Suddenly, Tippy burst, battered, and burned robo bodies rose from the bubbling depth of the pond. "Is that all you got?" Tippy demanded as he lunged toward the cave people as chased after them. But unfortunately for Tippy, they had much more unpleasantness in store for him. The Chapter 15, The Incredible Graphic One Chapter, Part 1, in Flip-O-Rama. Boulder Blast. Rhinoblasty. Trauma. Chapter 16. We can read chapter 16 later. I'm going to stop here at the chapter. We are going to read chapter 16 in our next part. Bye, everyone. See you today, everyone.